When was you born?
I was born October 22nd, 1991.
What major events do you remember?
Uh, the major event that comes to mind is September 11th.
Do you have any children?
I don't.
Tell me about your family.
I come from a big family. I have five siblings and obviously my mom and dad.
Okay. Tell me about your education.
I graduated from high school here in Chicago. I went to Harvard High School. Then I went to Loyola University for the first year of college. I transferred to Roosevelt University, and then I went to DePaul College of Law.
Okay. Do you have any military background?
I don't.
Okay. What do you do for a living? How long have you been doing it?
So I've been a student for most of my life, and now I'm about to be an attorney.
Okay, cool. How would you explain your childhood?
I had a very fun childhood, and there was a lot of kids running around, so it's always something new coming up.
Yeah. Do you have any regrets?
I do. I do have.
And can you tell me about it? Some of it?
Yeah, I think I regret not putting myself out there as much. I was always shy and quiet,
Yeah.
so I do regret that I kept to myself a lot.
Okay. What are your triumphs in
Graduating from law school,
life?
the biggest triumph.
How many countries have you been to?
Concerts,
Countries.
countries. I've been to 8 countries,
Mhm.
and next month is gonna be 10.
Okay. What is your culture like?
My culture is very vibrant, fun. There's a lot of music, food.
Yeah.
Uh, so
Where was you born?
I was born in Brooklyn, New York.
Okay. What are your best memories?
My best memories are family trips that we would take, road trips, fishing, going fishing,
Mm,
camping.
true. What is your economic and financial status, and how has it impacted your life?
My family's always been middle, I would say middle class, middle
Mm-hmm.
lower class. We've been lucky enough that my dad has owned his own trucking company. He has his own business.
Yeah.
So I've never lacked for anything. I've always
Yeah.
gotten everything I've needed and wanted.
Yeah. Are you politically involved?
I'm not politically involved, but I am politically aware.
Okay. What do you remember about your parents?
My parents would always tell us stories about their childhood and kind of comparing how they grew up to us. So they would start with when I was your age.
Yeah. What were your favorite games and hobbies?
I love playing video games, and my favorite video game was Pokemon. To this day,
Okay.
it's still Pokemon.
Do you play sports?
I used to play softball.
Okay. Um, and why did you stop playing softball?
When I was the beginning of my third year of high school, I got in an accident
Mm-hmm.
while we were, or about beginning season. I got in an accident where the girl threw the ball
Mm-hmm.
and she hit my ankle, and my ankle
Oh.
got shattered.
Oh.
And so they had to reconstruct it
Oh my
and insert a titanium rod in there. And so I couldn't walk for a year, for about a year. I was in physical therapy,
God. Wow.
and I couldn't move my foot to the sides. I had to go and slowly learn how to walk again with or use that leg to walk. I was
Wow.
on wheelchair, crutches, and then just had to use like a cane to walk a little bit.
Oh my
So that ended my softball career.
God. Oh my God. And did you ever like any other sport than softball?
I like soccer. I
Okay.
love soccer.
Cool. Did you live in a house, an apartment?
We used to live in an apartment for until I was like 10 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and I hated it because you always had to be quiet. You couldn't be running around because
True.
you're gonna disturb the neighbors.
Yeah.
But then my parents bought a house, and it's a lot better because like we were able to run, make a lot of noise,
Yeah.
just be free.
What was your favorite thing about school? High
my
school.
my favorite thing about high school was learning the new materials.
And least favorite?
Uh, just having to talk in class. That's always been my least favorite thing.
And do you have any challenges in high school?
I did. The one of the biggest challenge was having teachers wanting me to be interact more in class and
Mm-hmm.
speak out.
Mm-hmm.
I've never liked it, and so
Yeah.
that was always something that they would. When we went to report card pickup, that was the one thing they told my parents. She's very quiet. She never speaks.
Yeah.
Uh, So that was my biggest challenge.
Okay. Who was your favorite teacher?
My favorite teacher was Mr. Fitz.
And what was your favorite subject and why?
My favorite subject was history. Um, Not American history, not U.S. history. I hated U.S. history. It's horrible history. But I like, we studied European and African history, and that was always fun because
Wow.
it's more interesting.
Yeah. And what did you want it to be when you grew up?
I always wanted to be a lawyer when I grew up.
And are you satisfied with who you grew up to be?
Yeah, for the most part.
Okay. Who were your role models when you were young?
My parents.
And how did they imparted you and shaped you?
My parents always made sure that I went to school, I did my work, and that I maintained good grades. And without them and that, like, them guiding me through school, I wouldn't have made it through law school.
Did you go to college?
I did.
What college did you go to?
I went from Loyola to Roosevelt and then DePaul College of Law.
Okay. And what did you study?
I majored in history, focused on European history in Second World War, and I minored in philosophy.
Okay. How was your college experience?
I really enjoyed it. After the first year where I transferred out, I had a lot of fun at Roosevelt because they had more of the history programs that I wanted to do,
Yeah.
and everybody there was more accepting. So they weren't as judgy.
Yeah.
And they were all kind of like, yeah, social justice, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go to that demonstration. Let's go protest.
Yeah. And what was your first job?
My first job was working with my dad as like his secretary,
Okay. And what was your favorite job?
working for my dad because I had a lot of freedom.
Yeah. And what are the most difficult and most rewarding things about growing older?
The most difficult thing about growing old is having more responsibilities. There's a lot more on your plate, and there's a lot more things that you need to make sure you're doing. But most rewarding would be noticing that you're able to do those things.
Yeah, true. What do you want your children and grandchildren to remember about you?
I want them to remember that I was hardworking, and that I kind of set the pace, hopefully, and set a good example for them to go to school and also get an education.
What life advice would you pass along to your grandchildren?
I would tell them to try everything and anything they can. You never know if you can do it or if you're gonna get something until you try.
True.
You don't want to regret not trying something.
Yeah. What is the best advice somebody has ever given to you?
The best advice would be not to grow up too fast or try to grow up too fast. I know growing up, I always wanted to be 20 years old because I thought I was gonna live a fabulous life and be and travel and live fabulously. But it's not all it seems to be. It's really hard being 20 something.
Yeah, true. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.